In this video tutorial, we'll have 3 examples on squaring complex numbers. So let us say that we are given w is equal to negative 2 minus 4i and z is equals to 3 minus I. Now let's see what happens if we say w squared. That is simply saying negative 2 minus 4i squared. What I recommend you do is to expand the bracket as negative 2 minus 4i times negative 2 minus 4i. Now you expand that expression as you would do normally. So you multiply out each term in the first set of brackets with every term in the second set of brackets. So when you expand, you have 4 plus 8i plus 8i plus 16i squared, where I squared is equals to negative 1. So when I add like terms together, I have 4 minus 16 plus 16i, where the negative 16 comes from plus 16i squared, which is 16 times negative 1. So that simply is negative 12 plus 16i. Notice that I leave my answer in 2 parts. There's a real part and the imaginary part. And that's the way that we present complex numbers as answers. So let us look at another example. Here we have z is equals to 3 minus I. And we want to find z squared. So that is the same as saying 3 minus I squared. This is not equal to 9 minus I squared. Remember, we cannot take the square into the bracket directly. What we rather need to do is to expand. So it will be 3 minus I times 3 minus I. And I expand as I did in the first example by multiplying everything in the first set of brackets with every term in the second set of brackets. So when I expand, I have 9 minus 3i minus 3i plus I squared, where I squared is equals to negative 1. So that will be 9 minus 1, which is 8, and negative 3i minus 3i, which is negative 6i. Notice again that I present my example in 2 parts, the real part and the imaginary part. So let's say in our final example that we have w as negative 2 minus 4i as before, and z is 3 minus I. Let us find w plus z squared. So that is the same as saying negative 2 minus 4i plus 3 minus I squared. Now what I will do first is add like terms together inside the parentheses. So that will be minus 2 plus 3, which is simply 1, and then minus 4i minus I, which is equals to negative 5i. And I close the brackets, squared. Now again, I will expand as I did in my previous 2 examples. So it's 1 minus 5i multiplied with 1 minus 5i. And if I multiply it out, it will be 1 minus 5i minus 5i plus 25i squared, where I squared is equals to negative 1. So it is 1 minus 25, which is equals to negative 24, minus 10i. And as before, we leave our answer like this, with a real part first and our imaginary part second.